Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. You are watching The Wealthy Brains and now let's get in this video. Mike Maloney is CEO and founder of goldsilver.com and widely recognized as a leading expert on monetary history, economics, and precious metals. He is the author of Guide to Investing in Gold and Silver, the best-selling precious metals investment book of this century. A lifelong inventor and serial entrepreneur, by age 23, Mike had already founded sales firm Michael Maloney and Associates, growing it to 5 employees and 2 branch offices. He went on to become a manufacturer of high-end stereo equipment, where his designs won numerous awards, including selection in 1992 as one of the only 5 permanent exhibits for display at the opening of 20th Century Design Wing of the Royal Victoria and Albert Museum in London, the world's greatest design museum. That's about the time I had my first up-close and personal encounter with economic cycles. Mike says, by 1992, the US economy was in recession and the market for luxury audio equipment had quickly dried up. To make matters worse, a real estate bubble had burst, and the home Mike then owned dropped 60% in value. Still, he managed to grow his business and in 1998 launched the Home Entertainment Show, which is still one of the most respected high-end audio trade shows today. In 1999, a professional financial planner had been hired to manage his family's estate, and the results were disastrous. For 2 years, Mike watched the value of the family's investment portfolio plummet, so he fired the financial planner, took control of the investments, and began to educate himself on investing. I soaked up the information like a sponge, Mike recalls. I studied every evening for 5 or 6 hours and all day long on weekends, delving into financial markets, US and global economics. Mike discovered a passion for monetary history. Devouring dozens of books and countless of web pages, he discovered that the same economic patterns or cycles kept repeating over and over throughout the history, from ancient times to modern day. In 2002, Mike discovered that gold and silver were incredibly undervalued and started buying. With that newfound understanding, Mike invested his family's wealth 100% in gold and silver, and remains 100% invested in them today. In 2004, Mike met famed author and financial educator Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad, Poor Dad fame. Robert encouraged Mike to share his understanding of monetary history, economics, and recurring financial cycles with others, so that they too would have the ability to secure their wealth and their families' futures against the increasingly unstable stock markets and financial system. In 2005, Mike founded goldsilver.com, began writing his book, and started speaking at the investment seminars all over the world to audiences as large as 30,000 people. For 2,400 years, as people have lost faith in the fiat currencies, they have turned to real money in the form of gold and silver, Mike says. Today, with global debt spiraling and governments increasingly manipulating currencies and taxing savers, the stage is set for a modern gold rush to the safe haven of precious metals, just when supplies of those metals are precariously low. The opportunity for those who position themselves in precious metals ahead of the crowd is like none we will see again in our lifetimes. What will the silver price do in 2021, and where is it headed over the next 5 years? This will be fun, so let's jump in. The CEO and founder of goldsilver.com, Mike Maloney, predicts that silver price will move higher this year, though 5 project it will remain below $30. But as you can see, that range is quite wide, and that is an important consideration when predicting where the price might go. Silver can be very volatile at times, the result of its small market size, and that it doesn't take much cash entering or exiting to have a big impact on the price. As such, the swings both up and down can be bigger than what most other assets experience, including gold. While there are a number of variables that can impact the silver price, let's look at those most likely to play out this year and beyond to determine if they're likely to push the price higher or lower. Roughly half of all silver goes toward a variety of industrial applications. Demand from industrial users usually don't fluctuate all that much, but the next 4 years is likely to see a substantial increase due to Biden's green policies. That's because silver is a key component in many green technologies. Since it is the most conductive of all the metals, it is vital to making green technologies what they are if industrial demand grows as I expect. The silver price is likely to increase. The factor that the biggest impact on the silver price at any time is not industrial demand or jewelry demand, it is investment demand. Investment demand for physical metal has never been higher. Even with the vaccines came out, investment demand continued to surge. Investors clearly want exposure to silver. The Silver Institute reported that they fully expect investment demand for bullion to continue to march higher in 2021, particularly when scares about the virus exploded, along with the stock market crash in March. Volumes went through the roof. They've spiked again in January. As such, if investment demand, the biggest impact on the price, continues to rise as is projected, the silver price will increase. One thing that could depress the silver price is if the vaccines work and are widely used, pushing the economy back to some sort of normal, while industrial demand won't subside in that scenario. Investment demand could and thus push the price down. Silver 5-year prediction. Well, looking at the price of silver over the next few years, probably the biggest catalyst is monetary dilution. When the currency is debased, it makes real assets like silver more valuable since they can't be created with a few computer keystrokes. And now we have both monetary stimulus and fiscal stimulus. Monetary stimulus usually goes first to the banking system and ends up inflating asset prices. But fiscal stimulus are funds that will be injected directly into the economy and immediately spent. It's like me giving you $100 and you deposit it in a savings account versus spending it that day on groceries. You probably don't need me to say it, but the US doesn't have trillions of extra cash to spend on fiscal stimulus packages. It already can't balance a budget. Some claim they'll collect on the back end. As jobs are created and the economy grows, tax revenue will increase. But the debts and deficits are so high now they're mathematically unpayable. And history clearly shows they will lead to inflation. Where will they get the funds for those stimulus programs? They have to create it, which will add to the already bloated deficit. It only takes a 6th grade education to understand that the more you create of something, the less valuable it becomes. As more and more currency units are created for these massive spending plans, the US dollar will become less and less valuable, and silver more valuable. In fact, monetary stimulus alone is 95 times greater than annual silver in production. Now that the Democrats control all 3 branches of government, currency printing is sure to continue and fiscal spending is certain to jump. Both of these things will have a direct impact on the silver price. Gold and silver have served as the ultimate safe haven from financial chaos throughout the history, and today is no exception. All the underlying fundamentals that caused the financial meltdowns of 2008 have now been solved, but have been magnified by the action of the world's central banks. The bailouts, currency creation, market manipulation, derivatives, expansion, and growth of the too-big-to-fail backs only guarantee that the next crisis will make the crash of 2008 look like a speed bump on the way to the main event. Never in history has the global economy stood at such a precipice, and never in history has it been more vital to understand how, why, and where to invest in gold and silver. As Mike Maloney has said, there is no vaccine for the coming monetary crisis. The only way he'll be wrong about silver and gold is if they stop printing, and that won't happen anytime soon. Austerity is completely off the radar in the world we live in right now. This is a built-in catalyst for higher silver prices. Because of this, the most confident prediction is that over the next 5 years, the silver price is going to increase. This is all for today, folks. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like, and if you are new, then do not forget to subscribe. We will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.